As we all know, fantasy football has come to an end, and you're either celebrating like the unbeaten Patriots or crying like the 1-15 Dolphins. But anyway, you still may be hungry for more of that hard-hitting action. So, for the first time this season, we're going to mention some games that will help you fill that gridiron void. We begin with the National Hockey League, where they have 2 games that you can easily join up for the second half of the season. The first game is called 50 in 50. This is a free game where you pick a player for the day and see if he can help you break that NHL goal streak record of 50 goals. If the player you choose does not score a goal for whatever reason, then your streak is broken. Now, if you're more into goaltending than goal scoring, then this next game is up your alley. Mr. Zero. It's similar to the 50 in 50 game. It's free, and you must choose a goalie for the day where you believe he can play without surrendering a goal. Now, you must be a member before you can play any of the NHL fantasy games, but it's free to sign up. If you're interested in the fast pace of hockey, then log on to the NHL website. Next is the fast-paced, hard-hitting game of lacrosse. Now, if you don't know, there are 2 lacrosse leagues, Major League Lacrosse and the National Lacrosse League. The MLL is the outdoor league, which plays in the spring and summer. But we'll discuss the National Lacrosse League with their fantasy game, which begins play this month of January. It's free to play. You'll be part of an 8-team league. You'll draft 12 players, 11 runners, which consist of forwards, defensemen, and transition players, and 1 goaltender. Once your roster is set, you'll play a 10-game head-to-head schedule. You must start 6 players, 5 runners, and 1 goalie. You may find yourself with a player not playing that week. So if it's your goalie, then you'll be awarded points equal to what your goaltender has done so far. If it's a runner, then that person will receive no points, no matter what. There are some fantasy weeks where you have players play twice in one week. So you must decide which week that player will receive points from. Now the point system is as follows. 1 point for every goal scored, 1 point for every 2 assists, 1 point for every 10 loose balls, 1 point for every 3 saves by your goaltender, and minus 1 point for every goal allowed. There are no tie games. If your match is tied, then a tiebreaker system is activated. It begins with the most total points from your starters and bench players. Next is the top goal scorer from each roster. Then it's the second best scorer on the roster all the way down to the 10th. Then the last resolution is a coin toss. By the end of a successful season, you may be part of a 4-team playoff with 2 division winners and 2 wild cards. The playoff will commence on the last 2 weeks of the league season. Your trade deadline is on the 8th week of your fantasy schedule, so keep that in mind when you are making that final push for the playoffs. So if you are a huge fan of lacrosse or just want to slowly try to get into it, then log on to the National Lacrosse League website and enjoy the fun. Well, when we come back from the Fantasy Sports News and World Report, we'll have our Super Bowl picks, and boy, it's going to be a doozy. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Fantasy Sports World Girl Michelle Bird. Stay tuned for more Fantasy Sports News and World Report.
Can I help you, sir?
I found these over by the stairs.
Okay, thank you.
What are they?
Love handles. Lots of people lose them taking the stairs instead of the escalator.
You taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, a 9-iron, the net. Even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Hi, I'm Fantasy Sports World Girl Donna, and welcome back to the second half of the Fantasy Sports News and World Report.
Welcome back back to the Fantasy Sports News and World Report. I'm your host, Brian Lyles, and we have our Super Bowl picks today. With me is a panel that you've seen earlier this year and last year, and we have one of our newest panels on the board. First, next to me, with the host of our own show, Kanika Dunson, with her show In Depth. We have our secret source, Mr. Langley Wiggins.
Yeah, popping bottles and watching football all day.
And in the far corner, producer and host of the great show, The Fantastic Forum, Ulysses E. Campbell. So, ladies and gents, welcome back to the show. We have our Super Bowl picks to talk about. Last year, I made the most distinctive choice that no one would have thought had the Bears and the Colts.
You got luck.
I got to give it to you.
So now, this season, it's a little different, a little tricky, because we have an undefeated team, and we still have the NFC, who's still a big, huge mess. But I still believe that, trust me on this, ladies and gentlemen, Patriots are not going to do it. I believe it will be the Indianapolis Colts going back for round 2. They're going for their second one. But the team they're going to face is going to be the Green Bay Packers. And this will be Brett Favre's last game. And I feel that even though maybe his last game, he ain't going to win it either.
Oh, somebody's done gotten cocky off the last year.
So I'm taking the Colts again. They're going to take the title again. They're going to be Brett Favre and send him into retirement. But I'm going to have Ms. Conica, what do you believe will take?
Okay, the NFC, you're right, is a mess. But I'm going to go with Dallas. Because they are America's team. They're due. And they're superstars, right?
Have you been talking to somebody?
No.
It's off that screen card. That's what it is.
I picked Dallas last year. And they disappointed me. My loyalty makes me say Dallas is going to win, even though people are thinking they're falling apart into the season. Dallas is going to make it through. And the Patriots, of course, are going to be there. They are the most disciplined team on the planet. Ed Reed, one of the most disciplined players in the league, said it will take you to play 60 minutes of exceptionally disciplined football. Who else can do that but the Patriots? That's going to be in the Super Bowl. The Colts, they'll be watching.
Well, who's your team? Now, I hope it's not. I know Seattle last year was one of your picks. Do you think they'll do it again?
Oh, okay. Like it's going to, first of all, on the NFC side, it's going to be Dallas because there won't be any upsets that I can see. And second of all, it's going to come. NFC Championship is going to come down to Green Bay and Dallas, and Green Bay going into Dallas, and Dallas is going to have all their offensive weapons. You know, they're going to have T.O. and Terry Glenn. They got Barber. They got Jones. They got Witten. Yeah. A lot depends on Romo's thumb. He still hasn't been throwing well, so Green Bay putting pressure on him. But then again, there's that curse that Brett Favre haven't been able to win in Dallas. Now, I would like to see that done. So until he do it, I'm going to go with Dallas. But I hope he do it.
And who's Dallas? And who you got Dallas against?
I don't want to see Tom Brady win. I don't want to see Tom Brady win. But it's from what I can see, it will probably be New England because there isn't going to be anybody other than the Colts to challenge them. And for them to win easily, somebody have to bump the Colts off. I don't see that happening because the Colts getting back all their weapons. The only thing that may hurt them defensively is Freeney on that end. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, they're quick, they're strong, but they don't have that rush on that end, so that might hurt them. But I can't see. I would like to see them once again, like Green Bay beating Dallas in Dallas. I would like to see the Colts go into New England and beat them. I don't think they will, but I hope they do. So it's going to be New England and Dallas.
Okay. And who you got winning?
Dallas.
And you got
The Patriots.
I don't want to see no Tom
Patriots win
Brady.
the Super Bowl. Explain,
Yeah.
tell me this. Why do you think the Colts could beat the Patriots? Like, what is it between the matchups?
I'll
Okay,
let you
okay,
know.
okay.
I'll
We're
give you-
digressing over here.
I'll give Mr. Campbell. Who do you see going?
Okay, well, firstly, I have to say that on the AFC side, I see things pretty much as you do. The Patriots, the 16-0, I mean, it's phenomenal. They certainly will go down in history as one of the best teams ever to play in the NFL. But they're one-dimensional. They can't run the ball. They've got a tremendous offense, but all they do is throw. You know, great defense. I don't see them being able to weather the storm ultimately. I mean, the other thing is, Belichick is great if you beat him. I remember a couple of years ago when they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. The reason they beat the Rams was because the Rams had beat them during the regular season. They blitzed like crazy, and it didn't work. So he didn't do that when time came in the playoffs. But they beat the Colts. I mean, basically the Colts gave them the game. I mean, as I recall, Manning got hit and fumbled, and he also threw a key interception. I think that if the Colts eliminate those mistakes, because they were beating the Patriots very handily. Also, the Patriots got real lucky against the Ravens. They got real lucky against the Eagles. They got real lucky against the Giants. I mean, their luck can't hold out forever.
But if you notice, those games where they were down at halftime, they made the adjustments. Even when they was up, 17-13 against the Steelers. Steelers were blitzing them. They was putting pressure on Brady. So what they did was shorten their pass routes, threw underneath that, eliminated Pittsburgh from getting near Brady.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh wasn't the kind of team that the Colts, or even to some degree in that particular game that the Eagles were, or the Ravens. But, you know, but my pick for the AFC has got to be the Indianapolis Colts going to the Super Bowl. Now, as far as the NFC, number one, the NFC, as we have said, it's just a jumble. It's wide open. I think that any of those teams that are in the playoffs could advance, depending on what happens. Now, my problem is I'm not particularly objective. I'm going to pick from the heart because what I see...
We know where this is going.
Washington Redskins. Okay? And let me tell you why.
Please tell us why.
Oh, hey. The Redskins have had to overcome so much adversity this season. I mean, that would have absolutely wiped out any other team. Look at Atlanta. They lost one player, and their whole program fell apart. The Redskins lost the whole right side of the offensive line. We lost a starting linebacker. We lost our starting safety, who is never coming back. We lost our starting quarterback. Yeah? I mean, we got the coach calling 2 timeouts in a row. I mean, they were at low ebb, wits end, 5-7 losing to Buffalo. And what do? They turn it around. They win the Freeze Bowl against Chicago. They somehow suck it up. They beat the Giants. They go out to the Metrodome. They beat Minnesota. You know, and then 1 yard rushing, 0 for 11 on third down conversions against the mighty Dallas Cowboys, who are certainly the best team in the NFC. Well, I don't think the Cowboys want to play us anymore. I am hoping that we will go out to Seattle and we'll wax them to pay them back for 2 years ago, and then it's on to Dallas, and I just want them.
Now, wait a minute. You just finished sounding certain. Now you're saying you hoping?
You got to make the pick.
Now.
Skins and Colts. Skins and Colts. As much as I would love to pick the Skins, I'm going to have to pick the Colts. But, hey, it's a great trip for Joe Gibbs. Just the fact that they're there is great. Washington is all happy. And who knows, maybe they pull off the upset.
Okay, now to answer your question,
Yes.
and leading into this next topic is, I feel the reason being the Patriots will not win it because they will not make it past the divisional game. The reason being is, I believe that the one team that will screw up the Patriots' hopes will be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville is my monkey wrench team. That team is so unpredictable. They beat Pittsburgh already. They're facing them again. They beat them in cold weather, in the snow, in Pittsburgh. They can play the Patriots in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I mean they can play the Patriots in the snow, and I feel that Jacksonville is one of those teams that is just like, you figure they're down and out, but really they're not. I think they getting rid of Leftwich was the smartest thing they ever did. Yeah, and having Fred Taylor and Maurice Deuce. those two guys have been very, a really good 1 and 2 punch that a lot of teams have trouble trying to get to. I think that Jacksonville is that one team that gives that. And to be honest with the Patriots, they haven't faced Jacksonville, so they've already faced the Colts. They've already dealt with them. They've already dealt with the Steelers before. They can easily beat them. But a team like Jacksonville is very unpredictable. So
you won't even have the Colts and the Patriots matching
I
up
don't see
again.
them even facing each other. So that's how I see it. And as for let's say for the NFC side to really screw it over, the reason I have Green Bay going in, they ain't facing Dallas. Because I believe, surprisingly enough, I see the Redskins beating Dallas because I see Dallas is not even that great of a team to begin with. I mean, the last two games they played, really they sort of like, even though they had their starters in, but they're playing like they've been scrubs. So they really haven't been a very dominant team as everyone's been saying. So
They'll be back.
They'll be back home, Tony Romo with Jessica, Simpson. But Ulysses, who do you see as the monkey wrench in your Super Bowl picks?
Well, you're going to laugh at this, but my monkey wrench pick is the Washington Redskins. Because the only team that could possibly torpedo my hopes for the Redskins getting to the championship is the Redskins.
They're your monkey wrench, your pliers.
I told you I wasn't particularly objective.
Okay. Langley, who's your monkey wrench team?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of them. First of all, on the AFC side, San Diego Chargers are peaking at the right time, and I know you picked what your boy Norv.
That's true.
But he finally learned how to give the ball to the Danley and Tomlinson.
Thank you for not calling him LT.
Okay,
because he ain't. LT was a linebacker.
and so they're peaking at the right minute. I mean, Jacksonville, of course. On the NFC side, you have Green Bay, and nah, I ain't going with Seattle. Although they are throwing the ball more. They have better receivers. So Sean Alexander is sort of like a decoy in a sense. But at the same time, Tampa Bay is sort of a mystery. No one's taking no interest in the Giants. Tampa Bay is sort of a mystery type team, and I haven't seen them that much this year.
Right.
But number-wise, they can make something happen. They ain't gonna make it all the way, but no, I would say my monkey wrench team would probably be Jacksonville.
Okay.
Redskins. I agree with Ulysses. I mean, I do think Washington will beat Seattle.
Oh, he hypnotized.
No, I mean, I feel like they will, and I really think they have a good chance of beating Dallas. I just think somehow Dallas will magically win again. But
Lucky charms.
Yeah, I mean, Washington.
Okay, if that happens, who wants to go into Green Bay in January?
Even Green Bay doesn't want to play in January.
That's my second monkey wrench team is the Giants. I feel the winner is going to be from the NFC East. That's who the winner is going to be. I mean, whoever's going to Super Bowl is coming from the NFC East. It's going to be Dallas, Washington, or the Giants. The Giants, I think they'll beat Tampa Bay. Okay, we're at the Super Bowl. They'll beat him.
Okay, what is you looking at?
I'm going through how it all comes together. I mean, that Washington could mess up Dallas, and the Giants could surprise Green Bay if they face each other.
Okay. I mean, a lot of Super Bowl picks. A lot of people, even the big dogs, they'll say it's going to be either Dallas or Green Bay against New England. I just just to explain to everyone, it's like you're probably yelling and screaming. It's like, why aren't you picking New England? Because I just don't see how good, like you said, New England has been passing a lot. And I mentioned this before, they are the remnants of the 1981 San Francisco 49ers, the team you love.
Well, they don't even run as well as that.
Yeah, true, but it's just like I just don't see that. And I think with a lot of teams that they've been playing against, they finally figured them out, especially this latter part of the year. I just really don't see how well this team can continue on doing that in the playoffs, because they really got to change up something. Because if they're going to face the Steelers again, or like the Colts again, they already figured them out. But a team like Jacksonville, like I said, that's a team they've never faced before, and they're more potent. They have a real more strong defense than, let's say, Pittsburgh did a couple weeks ago. So, but the reason, let's say this, the reason I feel that the Patriots have been successful I don't think everyone's going to don Tom Brady as the league MVP, and a lot of people will think he's the good fantasy MVP. Me personally,
That's my fantasy MVP.
Me personally, it's not him. If it wasn't for Randy Moss, if it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for him, Tom Brady will be throwing it to a whole bunch of hobos, from here to eternity. It won't even
Vagabonds.
Yeah, it's just
Remember,
ridiculous.
some of those hobos was the Ravens who they played.
Well, that was only one. Douglas Thomas, you can have your whatever 16-0 season, but I feel Randy Moss. If it wasn't for Randy Moss, he would not be having this successful season. So, but usually, I know you're jumping.
Yeah, you stole my because Randy. I deliberately didn't mention him the whole time we were talking about this. I said, "Ooh, I want to bring." Because let me tell you something. What happened to me with my fantasy league this year? We're going through the draft. It's horrible 4-hour things. And it was like horrible. Horrible. Yeah. And it was like round 12. Okay. And Randy Moss was still on the board. And I picked. I'm like, I want Randy Moss. I mean, I'm playing with a bunch of young boys. And they're like, oh, Randy Moss, well, he ain't no good. He sucks. I'm like, no, don't sleep on Randy Moss. He just had a bad couple of years with the Raiders, but who doesn't have a bad couple of years with the Raiders?
Warren's that still happening?
Well, you're either a discipline problem, or whatever. But, Randy Moss said, I'm tired of this. I can still play. Came out, and what does he do except set the league on fire? I mean, he is absolutely, hands down, unquestionably, fantasy MVP of 2000.
Well, he was doing the same thing when he was with Minnesota.
Well, yeah,
but that's the thing. Was just throwing long to him.
But then he wasn't when he was
in Oakland.
Of course. I mean, that was just a bad
conclude team. That he had lost the step, that he was done. I mean, people were talking all kinds of trash about him. That's why he was available in round 12.
He did that on purpose to get out of Oakland.
Oh.
Yeah, he purposely
you really think he's as shrewd as that?
Didn't go all out on plays.
That's right.
Because he didn't want to be with the Raiders.
You sure that wasn't just
well, I think that was some other reason. That was some other reason. But, Conica, let me say, what's your NFL fantasy MVP?
Tom Brady. Because he's cute. I mean, why not? I mean, and he's good.
No, I want to see you.
That's it in here. Okay.
No, but I mean,
he's cute.
I mean, I don't understand why they win because they know how to win and they don't lose. I mean, you got to give them credit for that. I mean, they're a very disciplined team. And they don't get down. I mean, they're focused. It's a whole team focus, and Tom Brady is a leader of that team.
If it wasn't for Drew Bledsoe just dropping off like a fly, I mean, he like a dead fly.
If it wasn't for the dude that hit his sternum,
I mean, Tom Brady. Let's say Tom Brady. I really think. I mean, no offense to Joe Montana, but let's be honest.
Hey.
What are you getting ready to say?
Listen to what
now?
I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. All right, security's in the back. Here's the reason why I think Tom Brady is a system quarterback. He's perfect for that system. You put him in any other type of system, it will not work.
But that's the system he's in.
Yeah,
so
he's in his system now. If he got traded today to, let's say, everyone's saying Chicago needs a quarterback. If he take him to Chicago, he'll be like any of those Chicago quarterbacks that everyone's saying that they need to get rid of.
Who is a non-system quarterback? People say the same thing about Michael Vick. They're like, they built the offense around him.
They built, because
a
lot of teams built the offense there, but Tom Brady, he's specifically set for that West Coast offense. He's a West Coast offensive type of quarterback. You can't put him in a sort of like a run and gun type of offense. You can't put him, let's say, bring him to Washington and have him be in this offense. It doesn't work for him. If it wasn't for really for Randy Moss, he wouldn't have this success. He wouldn't at all. And
when they won the Super Bowl, was Randy Moss on the team?
No. But they lucked.
Okay.
But here's the reason why the Patriots won those other three. One, a lot of people, if it wasn't for that tuck rule, they would have won their first one.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
If it wasn't for that one, it would have.
That's true.
Secondly, the games that they won with 3 points or less.
But they still won.
But a lot of teams basically gave up on them. Meaning, like they forgot how to blitz. They forgot how to really put pressure on Tom Brady. Tom Brady can't handle pressure. That's why, earlier on in some of the games that they were losing to, they were pressuring him big time. But then somehow, all of a sudden, the lovely word of prevent fixed into everything and let loose a whole bunch of, what they really had a string goal. Everyone was then acting like Dennis Green. It's like, we let him off the hook. And then look what happens. I mean, that's what you're left with. I mean, Tom Brady is just like, he's
her fantasy pick.
Yeah, I know, her dream guy.
But you know something?
No, he's not my dream guy. He's not, because he's got a baby's mama. He's got a baby's mama. I just said that because he's a golden boy,
But I just had to throw in, because the other pick that we could have made for fantasy MVP is Wes Welker.
That's true. Yes. He actually, I think he's like the most underrated guy right now. He was part of that Dolphins mess. Got traded out, and he felt like, thank the Lord Jesus, and all that stuff. And he gets into an offense that basically has utilized his talent, because he's that second option that Tom Brady goes
That's
to.
What I'm saying.
If Randy Moss is double teamed,
we got Wes Welker.
Yeah,
that's exactly
so
right.
that's how it works. Langley, before we forget, what's your MVP?
Now, this is for the league or the
fantasy NFL fantasy league. Who you feel is like really that guy who really did a lot for a lot of teams this year?
Oh, Adrian Peterson.
Oh.
Hands down.
Okay, the guy from Chicago, right? Yeah, that's him. He did great.
No. The rookie sensation from Minnesota, Adrian Peterson. I mean, he was basically unstoppable until the last few games where teams put 8 and 9 in the box and dared
Tavares Jackson
to throw the ball.
He couldn't.
Other than that, I mean, the boy proved himself coming out of Oklahoma early to play this game and not staying another season and possibly risking another collarbone injury. So.
Now, let me ask you this question before we close out. Do you feel like he should have sat out for the rest of the year after his injury or no? Because a lot of people...
For Oklahoma?
Yeah, no. Well, actually, this season he suffered that major knee.
Yeah, he was out for like 2 games.
Yeah,
right?
2 games. But do you feel like the worry was that he was supposed to be, he may be gone for the season?
Oh no, you got to prove your toughness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't
Especially as a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he numbers wise he had everything made. He had over 1,000 yards, whatever, and so he had the rookie of the year wrapped up. But you got to prove your toughness.
Okay. Well, panel, I'd like to thank you for coming, and this has been the most entertaining show I've had this season. So,
you're kicking us off?
Yeah. Anyway, again, thank the panel. But before we go, we do have our Fantasy World Girl of the Month. Her name is Amina Vohra. She is a very talented actress. Dancer, very talented. She's been in a lot of feature films, the Bollywood world, and she also has a nice dance studio here in the DC area. You can log on to AminaArtist.com. You can find out more about her dance school, and you can sign up classes as we speak right now. She has very limited spots, so you may want to contact as soon as you can. So, again, that's our Fantasy World Girl of the Month, and I'd like to thank you all. So if you want to see more about our fantasy picks and all that stuff, you can log on to the MySpace, myspace.com/fantasysportsnwr, see the recap of the show and our picks and all this lovely banter that we have at the end.
Yeah.
My time is out, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.